going on, guys? Welcome to our weekly outlook. We're gonna keep this one just pretty straightforward. It's not gonna be that long. We're gonna recap, the Fed meeting, what happened, and how the market reacted. We're gonna recap quad witching as well, why the market didn't do exactly what it was supposed to do, like every other quad witching, which is everybody's like freaking out, like We're gonna talk about it, and then I'm gonna talk about just pretty much my view on US30 and my view on gold for the week. And then another thing that I'm going to talk about are two setups, right? Two charts, two individual equity charts that you guys know I have not been after them for a while. But there are two charts that I look at that look very, very promising, assuming the market continues the trajectory of it going up, if that happens for whatever reason. But the charts look pretty decent. If the markets pull back, I feel like these specific tickers are going to hold, right? We're going to see the same amount of selling pressure we normally have. And we're going to sort of see just a dip opportunity on these two tickers, right? But first off, let's just start with the Fed meeting and what happened. So last week, everybody knows it was a very anticipated event with, the Fed meeting. It was the whole interest rate hike and what was going to happen. The Fed came in, they hiked by 0.25. They sort of, went with the consensus. They came in with their 4-year plan. They're understandable. They're looking at a 1.5 to 2% by the end of the year on the federal fund rate. Again, understandable. And another thing that's understandable and funny to see them do is how they blamed Russia for the inflation. But, we're not going to get into that. This is not something that I feel like is worth even talking about. Like, I think everybody has seen this coming, But whatever the case, let's talk about pretty much how equity markets reacted and what happened. So equity markets pretty much just took, excuse my language, if you're with your kids, cover their ears. They just took the fuck off. It was pretty, crazy to see. Anybody that was short got squeezed out. Anybody that was, again, short got squeezed out because that's pretty much like the only thing there is. Anybody that was short got destroyed. And I mean hammered, destroyed. They all had a cover. They all got smacked with all those positions. But what happened, right? So we saw the market transition from a negative gamma environment to a positive gamma environment by Friday, right? We had a lot of puts expiring at the money basically this whole week, right? Leading into that quad witching day, which was Friday, we just had so much put, so much pretty much negative gamma, right? That if this would have expired, if we would have seen this push down, right, the market would have just kept falling. We would have seen SPY 400 pretty much by Tuesday, to not say Friday, and we would have just seen a really, really aggressive, market. And again, remember, market makers, they got to be neutral. Nobody really wants, a volatile environment. We sort of got past that already with the whole Russian thing. Now what the markets are going to digest is this whole movement now into interest rates coming back up. How are we going to move when investors now are just closing out their positions because they can go invest into something else, right? Now that borrowing money is actually getting expensive, right? Back then borrowing money was free, right? Remember, low rates, non-existent, so it was just free to borrow money. But now investors are going to transition to something else. So looking at equity markets, and going back to it and sort of deviate from it. So we saw how we sort of, pretty much just build out. The market completely took off. I mean, we took off on SPY. This little resistance area that we saw, we took off everything. This little support area that we saw, that we flipped resistance, and now it became support again, right? Really nice structure. Actually a macro structure. If we look at the daily, right? Really, really nice structure. So we saw this move, right? Again, it's fine. But we zoom out, right? To me, look at where we're at, right? This to me, and I said this already, and indicators are gonna get messy. But this to me is just a repeat of this. It's gonna be this is this, and that's how I feel. It's just what the market is. The trend is still red for the time being. How I'm looking at it on this little daily. Obviously, if you zoom out, right, we haven't taken out aggressive and held below specific supports, but we're getting there, right? So it's a matter of how long is it gonna take for us to continue down. And at this point, another thing I do want to talk about real quick before we move on. A lot of traders continue to be very biased, right? And they don't trade the downside. They just hold on to upside positions. Sometimes they try to take a bounce and they get clapped, this or that. Guys, we're not in that type of environment. This is crazy. You guys, sorry, I'm looking at US30 right now. This is gonna fill all this wicks here easily by the by Asia's close, most likely London's open, or even sooner by the time I finish this. But a lot of traders are still not trading the downside. They're waiting for the upside, and this is not something that you guys should really be after. You guys got to focus on just trading whatever side of the market gives a good output, whatever makes you money. You can't just be one-sided to things. But moving on, we're still with this with SPY. I still think we're gonna get down. We're still, we're in a positive gamma environment now. We should probably transition. We'll probably see transitioning into another negative environment. But let's see how long it takes and whatnot. The main levels to watch, at least on SPY, in my opinion, really, I think 40, 440. 440 is gonna be a very important level. If we just map it out, you can see that pivot level right there, right? Let me just mark it for you guys. You see that level has been a strong, how I call it, a nice medium line. Anytime we have been above, we hold off, and then once we give it up, we continue down. It's been a nice level to keep in mind. SPX, obviously 4400, same thing that you could look at. So anytime we're above, right? So let me go back. If you understand TPO and how it works, let's call anything above 440. I'm sorry, 4400. Anything above that, it's outside of our balance area, right? When we're outside of our balance area, we tend to be met by shorts, right? These are nice levels where traders go short because they want that nice average for that, explosive move down, right? So, let's see what happens. I think that if we lose 440 again, we're gonna see another leg down. We're gonna head down into our 420 level. If we confirm our 420 level, 410, 404, my two targets are basically a couple points away. So that's where I'm at with SPY. With US30, it's a pretty straightforward setup. You map out your levels, and if I'll freeze on it real quick. Let me get rid of this so you guys don't confuse yourself with the levels. There. So these levels here for US30, they're pretty straightforward, and these levels, I think that they pretty much define the chart for the time being. And once you get acceptance below these levels or above those levels, you can go long. If you wait for the retest, right, you can, whether it's long or short. That's how I would trade it. I would for the retest. Sometimes we don't get retest, and you just gotta execute. But whatever really works, right? But these are pretty solid levels if you guys want to use them for the time being and whatnot. But let's move on now to, oh wait, before we do, let's talk about gold, right? Because gold is already wanting to move. Gold is pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna get a lot into this, but for those that trade gold, right? You see this level here, that 1920 level. We gotta fill this wick. We need to get back here. We gotta accept all this area here, right? It's gonna be about right there, as you can see. That's the move, about a 1.20% move down. If we see a nice push below that 1920, I'm gonna be looking at 1910 for my possible entry to continue this little wick fill, right? This whole move down. If we start getting rejections and we cannot hold below on a macro scale, and 1 hour, 4 hour, whatever you want to call it, on that 1910 level, then obviously we're not gonna head down now. So we just gotta give that a break till we get that nice push and confirmation. But I do think gold is gonna revisit that 1895 level pretty soon. This little zone here, even this possible 1880 zone, we still gotta revisit that, right? We always gotta revisit these levels. We can possibly go here and then just see an explosive move up because some news came out, right? But whatever it is, it's gonna be at its own pace, right? But that's what I'm looking for gold, at least for this week. That short, I think, it's gonna be the only trade I'll possibly take on gold this week, right? There's no economic event that it's very, oh, by the way, that's something you hear, just some birds that are inside, they're not in the usual spot. But we don't have economic events enough to move gold this week, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it's gonna react. But let's talk about my two favorite charts of the week. Look at the Dow already. Look at US30 right there. So first things off, come on, you guys thought it was not gonna be Tesla. Just look at this chart. This chart is insane, right? But this chart is insane. I like it to the upside if we can get above 950. I'm gonna be straight up. I'm talking to all my bulls out there. Listen, you guys take us back above 950. I'm a buyer. I will go long. This wick fill here, right above 950, we get there. That wick fill all the way to 987. Imminence. It will happen. We get above 950. We get that nice acceptance. Buyers come in. Bulls just take over and make the little show that they like to make. We're gonna see that wick fill 100%. 100%. Bulls, you guys don't get your crap together. And look, I didn't curse this time, right? I could have said a better word, right? In case you're watching with your kids. Bulls, if you don't get it together, you know what we're going to happen? We're going to reject around this zone here, right? And we're going to just head back down. We're going to head for that 792 level again, right? And that is where I'm at with Tesla. Until we get above that level, that 950 zone, everyone, let's look at it from a structure point of view, right? Till we get above this 25-point zone. And I want to call it 25 because it's not really the perfect level. But, let's say 950. There we go. So we get above this $25 zone. I'm not bullish on Tesla. I will keep shorting this thing any chance I can. Once we do, I'm gonna get that. When we get that nice acceptance, I will be watching for this wick fill. If we don't get it, I mean, obviously, let's say tomorrow we see a gap down. You know, our first level is gonna be that 885, right? This level right here, these little wicks here, right? Highlight it. So this little macro structure right here, this is gonna be our first levels down, right? So if we get confirmation there, then obviously our next move is gonna be into this structure here, so forth. Structure here, right? This is how I trade, guys. It's not complicated how I trade with levels, right? You know, confirmations. We're gonna look at them from key levels. There you go. You want to look at them as structures. I prefer zones. Always have. There you go, right? So that's where I'm at with Tesla, right? I love the chart. I do. Again, to the upside, I only love it if we can get above that 950 level. I'm sorry. If we don't, I mean, bulls, man, you guys can't step up, right? The second one, I mean, who didn't know it was gonna be Amazon? Like, come on, who didn't know that the next name, right, was gonna be Amazon, right? But you know what? I'm gonna throw in even another treat after this one. I'm gonna throw in a third name that I really like, right? So Amazon, again, this one is as straightforward as it comes, right? Because the levels are so well respected on this chart that you could even say it's manipulation, but it's not, all right? It's not. In a way it is, but it's not. So once we get out of this structure right here, this old little structure there, this imminent. That move right here to retest that 3280 zone, imminent. No problem with that, right? But let's say we don't get that level, right? By some chance in hell, we just don't get it, right? And then the market's cycling out and we realize one thing, yo, Amazon is not pulling back as hard as every other, you know, name is. Why is that? We come out here, right? We're gonna draw a little fibs for a little bounce, right? I love it when things line up with the golden pocket. The golden pocket is one of my most favorite fib zones ever. I mean, I have said this in so many times, but to see that 23.6, right, be that golden pocket shows me that if Amazon gets there, buyers are gonna come in. That 30.90 zone, buyers are going to come in. They're going to come in and they're going to take this thing. And if they don't take it for whatever odd reason it might be, Amazon is going to see a bit of pain, right? And we're going to see that we're going to revisit the 3,000 zone. That's where it's going to be the big break, you know, make or break for Amazon. But personally, I'm not bearish on Amazon. I would not short this thing. If I can be real with you, I would not short this thing unless it's selling off completely and the whole market selling off. If it's just normal price action, I wouldn't touch this thing. This thing looks fairly strong, especially with this whole stock split news, which is a pretty big. A lot of people have been waiting for this news. So let's see how this marinates. But I'm not a seller here. I'm not short of this stock at all. Would not recommend it. And finally, come on, NVIDIA. Look at this beautiful chart. Look at this. Just look at this. Look at this macro build that we have. It's beautiful, right? Again, another structure coming in for us, right? And let's go down, right? Let's go down to our 4 hour. So our 4 hours pretty, simple. That 265 build out over those highs can possibly move us into here, right? 4-point move. We get acceptance in that 4-point move. This right here, that wick fill completion, guys, imminent zone right there. That's about a 11 point move, if you want to call it. This is a trade that I would really be watching to the upside. Again, I wouldn't short this stock. Investor day, I think, is on the 22nd. So that wick fill may come sooner than you may think, right? This could be a very nice play for the week just before investor day. One tip, I don't trade events. Nobody in my group trades events unless they do it themselves. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's gonna rip. No, don't do it. Don't be that person. It's not. I've never seen that work out for anybody, whether it's Apple, AMD, whatever it is. Don't be that person that trades the event, right? Not worth it. So I think we're pretty much just gonna wrap things up at this point. You guys got names that I'm watching, right? And I even threw another extra one there, which was NVIDIA. I think we're gonna get a very nice market for this week, right? And it's gonna be nice. I think it's gonna be a decent week for the setups. Another thing before I go, I want to say my workshop is officially 7 days away, so a week away. It's gonna be next Sunday at around 6 p.m. That's when we're gonna start, right when futures open. So you guys that have not signed up, if you guys want to sign up or whatever, any questions you have, feel free to DM me on Instagram. or wherever you'd like. But it's going to be a very nice workshop. Remember, we're going to talk about second order Greeks, option markets, and their impact. We're going to talk about the DAO, what the DAO is, because a lot of people think it's just a forex pair, and every time I say it out loud, I want to just strangle myself, because it's not. It's a stock index. Get it together. So yeah, it's gonna be something that's gonna be fun for everybody. I think that a lot of people will learn a lot. Some people that are struggling with options, I think this may be a new approach into trading. You know, when it comes to just it's equity trading. You know, you put your stops are behaved, whatever, and it's an index that is very nice to trade, and it's very easy to trade as well. But when you have the knowledge of option markets, how they work, when you have the knowledge of what really is the DAO, what are like the top names in the DAO, how do they affect it, how does it move, when you get all this info together jumbled up at once and you're able to digest it and accept it, I feel like you're going to literally be trading US30 so simple, because once you add technical analysis to that fundamental knowledge, the rest is cake. The rest is just screen time, and then just let it flow out of you. All right, so guys, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your evening, and thank you for watching. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. Peace out, and have a great trading week. All right.